Smaulgld.
Hello and welcome to another Smaulgld live stream. Today there is a midday breaking news live stream from Smaulgld. Today, March 22nd, Friday, 2019. About an hour ago, Donald Trump announced that it is his pleasure to announce a new board member to the Federal Reserve. Now, this is a nomination. It obviously has to get approved. But the gentleman's name is Stephen Moore. And we're going to go through a little background that I've dug up on him. He appears to be a pro-gold candidate. He is a, well, let's just take a look at some of the things that we know about him so far. First, I'm going to show you the announcement from Donald Trump, and then we'll get into some of the background and some information I found out about Mr. Moore. All right. So, Stephen Moore is a senior economic contributor to FreedomWorks. That should tell you something. That is a pro-growth economic type of company, not company, but entity. And he's also had a relatively high-profile member of the Heritage Foundation. He's been a Wall Street Journal writer, the Club for Growth. These are all conservative, free market type entities. He's also been I think a contributor on CNN from time to time. Donald Trump says that he has known him for a while, a very respected economist, and he will nominate him to serve on the Fed board, and he has no doubt he will be an outstanding choice. Now, apparently he is pro-gold, and he favors gold, but not as much as you might think. He's not in favor of a gold standard. Now, he was on Fox Business News back in 2015, and he was on a show with Stephen Forbes. I'll leave a link below on the Smaulgld website. And Stephen Forbes has always advocated for a gold standard. And Moore says he has no faith in central bankers, so he's definitely not a fan of what he called the grand poobahs that run these central banks. And he says a gold standard would be better than what we have now. But, he says, he would go back to what Paul Volcker used, a former Fed chair from, I think, 1979 to 1986, which was a de facto commodity rule, which they used the Fed followed commodity prices, and then they adjusted their interest rates accordingly. And that was based on a market baskets of commodities. So a market basket of commodities standard, not a gold standard. But again, he is in favor of gold. And back in 2010, in an article in Newsmax, he was predicting gold to soar to $2,000 when inflation hits. He called gold the ultimate refuge for people worried about inflation and worried about the direction of the economy. He said, I find myself in that category. I think the price of gold will go to $2,000. Now, remember, he said this in 2010 when the price was not at its all-time high and it was heading higher. And he says any savvy investor should hold gold in their portfolio. It's the best hedge against inflation. He also advocated for the continuation at the time of the Bush tax cuts. So he is a free market guy, somewhat of a gold guy. He did at the time approve of the Fed's policy because they had low inflation and low interest rates, but which means he was in favor of QE, it sounds like. He says, but this idea of the federal government pouring money into the economy as if we can print money and then print jobs, that's a fantasy. And he was worried about becoming another Japan. So he wasn't in favor of the QE. I guess he was in favor of having the low interest rates and the no inflation, but I suppose he could have done without the QE. And he said there can't be a sustained recovery until the government stops expanding the budget deficit. So he's clearly somewhat of a hawk, a free market kind of guy, partial to gold, not necessarily a gold standard, but at least wanting to have some solid backing to the dollar. So we'll see what happens when if he does indeed get approved, and if he does get approved, then we'll see how he does and what his influence, if any, would be on the board. Remember, he's only one guy, but it's interesting. So Trump nominates a pro-gold candidate to the Federal Reserve. I'll leave you the links on the Smaulgld website so you can watch the interview with Stephen Moore back on Fox News from 2015. And then will join us again, please, tonight at 7 o'clock, where we'll do the normal Smaulgld live stream with the Smaulgld mug stackers and game changers. So, see you later, and thanks for tuning in.